and welcome to episode 70 of the Codependent Knitters. This is my friend Dawn. I'm not sure where she is, but she's there.
This is my friend Lisa.
And together we're the Codependent Knitters. We have a podcast mostly about knitting, some things about cross stitch, some things about sewing, and life in general. But yeah.
And I have a new hobby to add to that list. I'll show you later.
All right. And then what else do we do? Oh, we do talk about knitting and where we've been and whatnot. So yeah.
And we've got a special giveaway to draw a name for, right, and a few quick things to talk about, and then we want to get this out before Christmas because we have a special Christmas Eve cast on to mention.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Lisa, anything new? What have you been up to?
You know what? Nothing really new. I know that sounds awful. I do have a new cast on, but we'll talk about that later. Just driving around, dropping the kid off, dropping the kid, picking the kid up. Guess that's what happens when they get a job. But yeah.
Yeah. Mine is learning to drive. So
right?
he's got mixed feelings about it. So it's been trying to get him out to practice driving, and yeah.
Well, it's not too bad because my daughter will actually drive. She drives herself to school and I just drive home now. And then I drive to pick her up and she drives herself home. So nice. She's having, yeah, it's nice. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, our friends don't know, or most of them don't know. After we recorded last, I went to a special event. It was a knit social, she calls them. So it was a day event. It was hosted by the Thoughtful Artisan and Rhichard Devrieze, and they've done this before. This was the third event I've gone to, and it's a day event. It's ticketed, and there's a project mystery up until probably like the day before. She sent the pattern out so that you kind of know what needles you need to bring. Okay. But the yarn was provided by Rhichard Devrieze. And there was a lovely lunch. This time being in December, it was Christmas turkey dinner.
Nice.
Fantastic. This was hosted at a community center, a smaller one in Woodstock. Okay. It was really nice. And the project this time was a hat.
Oh, nice.
This is my hat.
Oh, that's really pretty. I like that.
This way. The pattern is called December Frost.
That is so pretty.
It's by Sofia Moussa, and it's worsted weight. And everyone got the same colors. There was also a crochet project, which was a hat with a tree design as well.
Oh, cool.
So Rhichard provided the yarn, which was this green, which is on his website. And now I don't have the tag here that says what color it is. It's the name of an olive, I think he said. So it is on his website. If you love this green, it's beautiful. It's very frosty.
It's very pretty.
It's a pretty green and a natural. And I have not quite enough left to do. I weighed them, so I want to do them in reverse. So I needed a bit more natural. Anyway, this is a sidebar, but so I just ordered the other day. And of course, if I'm going to order one skein, I ordered a few more. So I ordered a few more skeins from Rhichard. But this worsted is so squishy.
I was going to ask what weight it was. It's really pretty.
Worsted. And the pattern has an option of either a folded up brim, where you do this color stripe in the middle, or I just did a single. Isn't it sweet? And then she was selling pom-poms. This is actually a pom-pom I got from someone else recently, but I think
that's cute.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of orangey tones in it, but it's got the green. Can you see the green in there?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice.
Okay, so what I want to say about this pattern, other than the fact that I love it, I am going to knit another one in the reverse because I've got some of the green left. I used 3 Patty Lyons techniques. 2 of them for sure are in her knitting bag of tricks. And I think, Lisa, we should do a little mini episode just talking about this book.
Okay.
If anyone doesn't...
It's crazy how many times I've gone to that book.
Yes. If anyone doesn't have this book, I highly, highly recommend. It's just handy to have it at your fingertips and quickly look in the glossary and find what you need. I will say though that if it's not in your budget to buy this book, everything that's in here she has done either on her blog, on the Modern Daily Knitting. Follow her on Instagram because she puts so many free tips in her Instagram stories.
She did the color work one on Instagram recently.
Yes, and that's one of the ones I used. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so let's just go around this hat. So what happens is when you're doing colorwork transitions, here's a good example. This is a hat I did a few years ago. You can see, it's backwards. You can see very obviously where my, this is so terrible now. I should duplicate stitch over it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Right? So these all look great. This is where my row begins and ends. So it's not quite the same as a jogless stripe because it's not stripes, it's color work. So it could be a different color each round. Mm-hmm. She did reels on her Instagram stories. I would say go there because it is a really good technique. And it just involves knitting this last stitch again with the color, the next color of the next round and blah, blah, blah. I've tried it twice now and I did a lot better on this project. I did it on my doodle hat. So if we go around, look at those trees. Look at those trees. They all look pretty good. So I happen to know this was my beginning of round, but.
Right. Yeah, no, it looks really good.
It's backwards. So I keep turning it the wrong way.
Yeah. Just right there. Right there. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now, in sometimes the stitch was a little loose, so I did go back after and just tighten them up, the tension, but the color work ends up where it's supposed to be, the colored stitch. Fantastic. Another technique I used was her ribbing transition. That is in the book. So again, I brought some old hats to show you. So if you see here, when it transitions to the ribbing, especially if you look sideways, see how there's like a little bit of a bump? Right? You can see how it's kind of bumpy there where it changes. That happens whether you're doing a stocking stitch into ribbing, like the bottom hem of a sweater, or reverse ribbing into stocking stitch. So her technique is, and I don't mind saying this because it's posted online free, you slip the knit stitch and knit what was the purl stitch or stitches. If it's in 2x2, it also works in that first round where you transition, and then you go to just stocking stitch. I did it here on the twisted rib and
much smoother.
Much smoother. It just looks, nice and flat. So I did that and love it. I've done that ever since I first tried that technique, and it just elevates that knitting a little more, so it just looks a little more polished.
Very good.
The third technique. And I've recently started doing this on everything where I have slip knits. She explains a few different ways to do slip knits in her Knitting Bag of Tricks, and she talks about the why. That's what I love about her book. She explains why, the mechanics of the knit stitch or the knitted stitches, and why things do what they do. And sometimes it's because the way the yarn wraps and the yarn tension is a little different. So she talks about a couple different ways to do slip knits, and I started using her new to me technique. So here's a good.
Sometimes when you do a slip knit, you get the bar across it.
It just looks crooked. I got to go this way. There. So it's just a really nice transition. This one actually has slip knits and knit two togethers. Yeah. Like a sock would. Sorry, I'm backwards. There are really good diagrams in her book, but it involves just a way to do it so that it tightens up that tension on the stitches, and they lay, you know how your knit two togethers always look really nice and they go up in a nice angle, and your slip knits can look like a little bit of a step. She evens that out and it looks much better. So I'm still perfecting that. I've only recently started doing that and I love it, and I will do that forevermore. So yeah, those 3 things I did in one hat.
Wow.
I'm really happy with that round transition. You have to really look to find it now. And I know where it is so I can see it, but it's amazing. So
no, that's good.
That was a very long discussion about that and that project. It was a really fun day. I went with Adrian, our friend Adrian.
Nice.
Vicky from Songbird Yarn and Fibers was there. We met 4 or 5 new knitters at our table. Rhichard sat and visited with us. It was a lot of fun. And of course, he brought a lot of yarn, which I, couldn't resist. He has these little, you never know what he's going to have, but he has these little micro skeins.
I know, right?
That Muskoka Yarn Connection sells them as well. So I just went through the basket and picked a whole bunch that coordinate. I don't even know if there were 2 the same. And I grabbed a whole bunch. So I could do like a gradient of something.
These are them.
Oh yeah, they're great for gnomes.
Yeah.
So they're only 25 yards. So they're not
well, when I did this, I had to do the arms a different color but they're great. Little things. Great.
Yeah. So I love these, and oh man, I found a whole bunch of those. So that's all.
So many colors.
Yeah. His dyeing really is beautiful. And I got to say, this is it's just, look at the squish.
Right? High squish factor.
High squish.
I know.
That's my good. FO. That's my only FO.
Woohoo! I know. I don't have one either.
You don't have an FO? Okay.
No, what are you wearing though?
What am I wearing? Well, I thought instead of a sweater, I went and pulled out this old thing. This is Ohra, O-H-R-A, by Caitlin Hunter. And I know I had a project page. I can't find it. But I used some Madelaine Tosh. I think it's all Madelaine Tosh, but then I also had some little mini skeins that I used for these stripes, and I'm pretty sure it's all Madelaine Tosh. Little tassels. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this up so you can see it. So there's this little cable right here down the middle, which I love. And some eyelets, more stripes, and then a nice wide rib around the bottom.
Oh, nice. Looks good.
I love it. So this is from a few years ago, but it's just it's lightweight. It's really pretty. I just love it. So I thought I'm going to wear a shawl today.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, and while I'm talking about this shawl, I thought I would mention, I grabbed it out of the closet, and there was another shawl that I haven't worn in a long time, but really like. And it is the Jamie shawl by Jamie of Cozy Up Knits.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And it's all hanging on the hanger here. You can see it's just all different texture.
Oh, nice. That's pretty.
Yeah.
And I used to wear that one a lot.
I haven't worn it for a long time. But I love it. I knit this in Diamond Luxury Collection, the Pure Wool Superwash. I used just under 3 skeins. It's fantastic. So this is in a solid. You can make this with a lot of really inexpensive yarns. You don't have to use hand dyes. You can, it's a fantastic knit.
It's pretty.
And I was just going to say, if you're storing shawls, if you're hanging them, what I like to do is bunch all of the shawl up onto the shoulder of the hanger, and then you don't get like those.
Yeah, those are also like textured hangers.
These are those velvety covered ones that are fantastic. Clothes don't slip.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also, so with this was a test knit with Jamie's permission. Her pattern actually has right here baubles.
Oh, right. Yeah. You don't like baubles.
I don't like baubles. Where is it? Right there. So I found what is called the Estonian button stitch, and it's a great replacement for baubles if you don't like big protruding baubles like me. So Estonian button stitch, She was totally fine with that. It's very similar, just flatter.
I actually am wearing my tree ring that I finished last time.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's really comfy. You know what? It's really lightweight, but super comfy.
It looks good on you.
Yeah, it's made out of Holst Garn Supersoft, which is 100% wool. And it's very, in silver and a heathered navy. So it's kind of a light navy. So yeah, it's
who's the designer?
It's Dani Miga.
Right.
Miga. Yeah, and it was a fun knit. That was the one. Remember how I said I started, hold on a second. I started doing the increases on the silver and then I went to the navy. So yeah, it's comfy. It's like a sweatshirt. Comfy.
That is on my to-do list someday. I like that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Awesome. I won't do it in Holst Supersoft, but I've got lots of fingering I could do it in.
You could actually do it. It'd be nice in the coast.
Yes.
Yeah, because I like it because it's you know what? If you fold it and roll it, it's just tiny. Like you could put it in a bag and take it anywhere with you. It's so yeah.
Awesome. Should we talk about more whips?
Yeah, that's all I have today. This is my FO for today.
Okay. So, I have to grab a bag fell down. I've been posting on Instagram just every so many days progress on my it's a solstice stripe sock. Okay. So it's a 21 color stripe by the Wool Baron. And I actually am 2 days behind. I have to do yesterday and today.
Nice. That's pretty.
See, there we go. Isn't it pretty? I love the colors. So I ordered, she actually offers a 50 gram skein, which is definitely enough for me, especially if I do contrasting heels, toes, cuffs. So I did the cuff in just an undyed fingering.
Nice.
And I will do the heel and toe as well in that.
Nice.
I think. Maybe I'll add a color for the heel. I don't know. But it's lots of fun. Just doing a stripe a day. It's fun. Although I should have cast on concurrently the second sock. And then I could have, because she did, no, it didn't come in 2 bits. I think I cut it. I don't remember. But then I would have a finished pair. So I could still cast it on and catch up, I guess, right?
You could. Yeah, you could. You can knit fast enough.
And then I also cast on the Timber Ridge hat by Meadows.
I think so.
Yes, Meadows. And she designed this using Timber Yarn's Marled DK. She has Worksock bundles. And I had the bundle, but just hadn't cast on the hat. Let me fold it up. So I'm knitting it exactly as the pattern. I did the fold up brim.
Nice.
With the red stripe. And it's a 2x2 rib pattern. There's a little more to it than that. I won't give it all away. And it's a lot of fun. This is a really squishy hat. And she did it so that you don't get that's the wrong side, right? Where you see the color changes on the pearls. So, and what else can I say about this? It's a lot of fun. I think I'm almost where I need to start the decreases. So
for the crown, yeah.
For the crown. So Heather also dyes her DK Marled sets for these in different colors. So I have ordered Azure, which is like a beautiful tropical blue.
I have the gray sweater quantity.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she has the, so you can do socks or you can do hats or whatever you want with them. So this pattern is great. It has newborn to adult sizes. And I don't quite have enough of the natural, but you know, I definitely got lots of red left. So, and I'll have lots of the Marl left. So you could make like an adult and a baby size, depending on how much, depending on your gauge and what size you make. So super fun. So that's my other new whip.
What did I do? Oh, I Okay, so I'm not finished the Kate that I started that I had last time, because I was headed to see Sleeve Island, and I didn't want to do Sleeve Island right now. So I started the Aldous from Isabel Kraemer.
Aldous.
Aldous. And I'm using Gilpin lamb's wool, and I love the feel of it. And it's kind of neat because it's got the saddle shoulder. If you can see how it comes out.
Yeah.
It comes out, and then you increase for the sleeves. So it comes out kind of, do you see what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of a bit different. I'm liking the way it looks. So I'll have to see how it fits. It feels super soft. It's just so, yeah. This I bought at the Knitting Loft.
Okay.
The friends at the Knitting Loft. Yeah, I'm doing it on a 3.5, and it just looks so pretty. Yeah, so I wanted to start that. I've been meaning to start it for 300 years, but I thought, I'm doing it. Here we go. So yeah, and I think it's got like a, what do you call it? A Latvian braid along it.
Oh, like the horizontal braid?
Yeah. So it's got like it's got it like along the edge here, along the ribbon. So yeah, so that'll be good.
Any other, what else is on your needles?
Nothing to discuss. There's stuff on my needles, but some of the people that I'm knitting for are kind of supportive, and they watch the podcast. So it's like.
So you have gift knits.
Yeah.
Gift knits. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about Natalie Sheldon, our friend Natalie, Remembrances Pottery on Instagram.
I swear she must be up all night.
She's such a fantastic.
Does she dream in color work? Does she dream in little squares colored in? Like, just the stuff she comes up with, it's phenomenal. I wish I could knit them all.
Well, she is coming out with a new pattern. If you want to do a Christmas Eve cast on or a New Year's cast on.
You're doing a Christmas Eve, aren't you?
I'm doing Christmas Eve. Let me tell the people what it is.
Okay.
It is the Cozy Quilt socks. So I'll put a picture on the screen right now. And you can see that it is a colorwork sock where there are bands of quilt blocks. Yeah. So she's done it with like the sashing row between the column between each block and between each row, so that you can pretty easily keep track of your color work. And I think it's just gorgeous. So it's coming next week, she said. By the time, I'll probably have this video out before the pattern comes out, but it will be out before Christmas Eve. And you can do it scrappy. You can do it with a solid or a tonal. She's done it in a blue. I think it looks beautiful.
What color are you doing it in?
I have not decided yet, actually.
I'm surprised.
I have a lot of options, but let's talk about options. Okay. So at first I thought like a solid or a tonal. And I think I actually have the blue from Legacy Fiber Arts that she used from last year. So I pulled a couple of multicolored skeins out of my stash just to talk about it. So if you're going to use a multicolored, you definitely want to make sure that you're not using one that has really any white areas in it. So
make sure it doesn't match the contrasting color at any point.
At any point, yeah. Assuming your contrast is white. So I grabbed just a natural skein here to show. Okay, so it looks great in skeins, and you think, oh, that's going to be fantastic. But there are, for example, a lot of areas in this skein where it's very light, and you'll just lose the contrast. So it'll affect your design. And
it might tend to look blotchy.
Yes. And the colors in this are beautiful, but I would say that that's not an ideal choice. Getting a little better. So I picked up, at first I grabbed this skein. It happens to be Leo and Roxy. If you like it, it's called Little Mermaid. Oh, actually, I don't know if this is a recurring color either. This was called, this was an LYS Day 2019, so no longer available. This is called Little Mermaid, and it's their 80/20 sock. So it's beautiful. But if I take a really close look, there are a few really light spots. And again, in color work, those just might get lost. You don't know where they're going to fall. If they fall in the middle of a patch of stitches, fine, but you don't know. So I first thought this would be gorgeous. Now I'm like, I don't know. This I think would work. This is a skein of Knit Picks Muse fingering. The color is Impulse. So this is very variegated, and really I couldn't find any overly white spots in it.
Very cool.
I like this. I think this would be a lot of fun. Also, something to consider is if you're using a natural, is color bleed. I would definitely test a swatch first. This Knit Picks I think is pretty good. I wouldn't expect color bleed from these, but it's very intensely dyed. You never know. I would definitely
see, I was thinking I have Vixen, Leo and Roxy Vixen. I would love to use that with a white or a gray, but again, I would do a color swatch and let it soak. Sometimes you can see just by wetting the one that's like, this would be the Vixen. If I were to wet it and you see the dye come out, then it'd be
right. You can. You don't have to actually you don't have to do a color work swatch. You can. It's always a good idea, and it doesn't have to be the pattern. Just do stripes and then find out. But yeah, it's good to check for color bleed, or just put a chunk of white in the bowl, in a small bowl with it, and see what happens. And I also have Songbird. This would be beautiful. This is This is her Nickel Bar Pigeon. Let me turn it so you can see the label. This would be fantastic. So again, if you're going to use an indie or hand dyed yarn, you just never know about color bleed. And color bleed isn't always the fault of the dyer. Like we've mentioned this in the past. It doesn't necessarily mean the dyer didn't do a good job of rinsing it. Color bleed can be affected by so many factors, like if you put wool wash in, what kind it is, what happens with your pH of the water, if you've got well water, city water, hard water. There's so many factors, so it can just happen. And the best thing to do is just test, and then you haven't wasted, all your effort. So these are just some skeins I pulled up, and then I did have one more. This would work too. So this is Artful Bell. Now this is Bering Sea, and where it is lightest, it still is contrast enough. So I would be comfortable using this. I think that would be pretty. But so would a solid. So I haven't decided. That's the answer.
I'm Camp Solid.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say I'm Camp Solid. I'm not saying like it has to be solid color, but I'm monochromatic. I think that would just kind of make the design. But again, personal choice. I think that if you were to do it and it would look amazing.
I think it's going to look amazing, whatever people do. Yeah.
I was thinking McSteamy.
Yes.
McSteamy, and I have white.
McSteamy is a dark gray. Leo.
Leo and Roxy, dark gray. Or even a navy. I kind of like the idea of a navy.
Navy would look really...
Is you can flip it.
Yeah.
So that, you have your toes. Because I think her heels and toes are cream, are they not?
She did the heel in the blue on these.
Okay, yeah.
In the contrast. You can do whatever you want in that regard. And I'm pretty sure Natalie always gives charts where you've got the dark with the white or the white with the dark. So
she does, usually.
Any other? You'd mentioned a red.
Yeah, a red. That would be very traditional too. Like
red would definitely be, especially with like Amish style quilt blocks. I think like there's like a 9 patch here. I think a red would look striking.
Or even there's a quilting, they do a red a lot in Hawaii as well, don't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, the red and white is like a lot of different countries do it. Yeah. But yeah, it's very traditional.
Yeah.
And it would look so nice, but then it's kind of Christmassy.
If you do red and white, red is a color that if it's hand dyed, it could bleed. So I would stick with a West Yorkshire Spinners has a phenomenal array.
Right.
And Knitting Loft posted just this week a photo of their West Yorkshire Spinners wall. I had no idea. I mean, I've seen some, but I don't know if there's a color that they haven't thought of. It's amazing.
Just drop them off here.
The other option is I bought the Legacy Fiber Arts micro sock set advent set where it's the 4 Sundays you open up a set.
Okay,
so they're
yeah.
50 grams with a 20 gram mini. So this was my first. No, this was the first. This wouldn't be suitable for Natalie's, but it's beautiful. This was the first Sunday skein. This was the second. I love it. Look at the colors in that. That would be pretty, but there are like a couple of light patterns.
Now, the other thing is, what about self-striping?
I thought about that. I would say no.
I think it would depend on how wide the stripes are.
They're too wide. I've done color work in self-striping. Most self-striping yarn dyers are about 5 rows on let's say a 64 stitch sock. 4 to 5 to 5.5 rows, depending on your gauge. This pattern, like for example, like I can tell from the 9 patch, it is actually 9 rows. So even though it's color work, you're not going to have enough because you're stranding. Plus, some of the blocks use more color than others. So then what'll happen is you'll end up with a stripe that starts mid quilt block, or However, this was another option, and this is the first thing I thought of when I saw this pattern. You can do it scrappy, so you don't have to find a full skein, or you can do mini skeins. It just means you're going to have some ends to weave in. So I have this Timber Yarns mini skein set, which is I won't all fit in this bag. There's green, navy, all these beautiful colors. This was from the Sampler September collaboration that she did with Evertotes. So you could, it's probably still available, but it's available through Evertotes. So it's evertote.ca. And there's a lot of really neat colors in here. And so I thought that would be fun. Another option, I'm full of ideas. I just thought of this. Another option is a gradient, like Shirley Bryan yarns, for example, where her transitions are gradual. So you're not going to see a sharp demarc where the color suddenly changed in the middle of one of these quilt blocks. Yeah. That would be beautiful. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Lots of options. And it's just so much fun. And she has I've done her colorwork patterns before. They're excellent. Great instructions. She tells you to go up in needle size. I normally do a 2.25, and I'm a loose knitter. And I think the last one I did, I went to a 2.75.
Yeah.
You can't, don't worry. It won't be way too big. It shouldn't be way too big. So just with that stranding.
I do go up quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing too is when you're doing stranding in a sock like that, instead of having your knitting, when you're knitting in a round, you have your knitting here, you usually turn it inside out and have your knitting on the other side. So you're still knitting, like not purling, you're still knitting, but your floats are carried on the outside, so they tend to stretch out.
Yes.
As a tight knitter, I find that sometimes very helpful.
So what Lisa means by that,
I don't have socks on the go.
I've got socks on the go. So I have this sock handy. So normally I knit it with the right side out, right? The inside of the tube. So what Lisa's saying is turn it inside out. You still knit. So you're knitting, it looks like you're knitting on the inside of the tube, which you are. So your stocking stitch is going to be on the inside of the tube. And it can just give you a little extra.
Your needles are farther away on the circle. They're on the other side of the circle than normal.
Yeah. And that can give you a little extra give, a little extra play in the yarn.
Yeah, because your floats are carried on the outside, so they're being,
So definitely going up in needle size is the best tip. So I just wanted to mention that pattern drop from Natalie because it's going to be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
Speaking of Natalie, she offered us a copy of her gingerbread house. What was it called? Hang on.
She has so many nice patterns. Like, just some of them are so pretty. You've done a couple of them.
Yeah. Okay. She offered us a copy of her gingerbread house socks to give away. Right? Is that the one we were giving away on the comment below?
I think so, yeah.
The last episode. I'm pretty sure. So we asked you to comment
the night before something.
The night before, blah, blah, blah. YouTube random comment picker on pickawinner.co has chosen Sue Casey Sue C Quilts 4301. And she commented, the night before Christmas, I bake a tortilla to enjoy for supper.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for commenting. Congrats, Sue. And I just have to get the code from Natalie, and then I can just send this to your Ravelry account.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Yay. Oh, you have to get her Ravelry number then.
Yeah, she's been on our Ravel. I think I can find her. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
If I have problems, I'll contact her.
Very good.
And then we had a special giveaway. This is my gift. We're giving away this sock set of Leo and Roxy yarn, and it's the Christmas Yarn Club 2020, and it's beautiful. So there's this.
I love that turquoise and red together.
Don't they look good? Yeah. So this is a unique colorway that you can't get anymore. And what we did is we asked you to go to our Ravelry group and comment, just either tell us what you'd like to see us talk about or do on the podcast, what you'd like to see more of, or just what you like about us, whatever. Just comment something in of that nature. And let me just go there. We had
39
entries, and we the random number generator chose number 21, who is Ravelry user ID Patnell, Patnel. I'll put a screenshot. Who commented, those colors are fun. Yes, they are. I love watching your podcast. No matter what the content, you're both so enjoyable to watch. Thank you. That's really kind. Yeah. Okay. The comments that people have left, there are so many ideas.
Right. Great ideas.
Yeah. Oh, I should finish saying, Pat, message me on Ravelry and I will send you this prize. And I went down into my shop stash and found this bag. I mean, come on.
That's pretty good, because I think that there's even brown in that yarn, is there not?
No.
At the top there?
No, it's just where the red and the green kind of.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Yeah.
But look at these colors. So
perfect.
I found this bag and a needle keeper. I think this might be the last of these bags. So
you're off to the races, Pat.
Pat, we threw this in the last minute. Super surprise. We're going to send this to you. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you. So I just need your mailing address. And I have some other stuff. Whoopsie. I have some other stuff to mail. So I'm going to try get this video up and get this into the mail soon for you, Pat, so that you'll have it at least for wintry holiday knitting.
Very good.
This is a perfect sock size bag. Like, look, it'll just fit. Oh,
that's
love
awesome.
It. Yeah. So that giveaway is done. We mentioned the comment giveaway. I think that's everything. Just to recap, reminder, you do have a little bit more time left to finish a sweater from our Year of Sweaters make along. And the grand prize, there will be a couple of other things, but the grand prize is this Ginger Snap fade set. There we go.
That's so nice. Thank you, Kim.
Awesome. Kim and Colin are so generous to us. It's the Coffee House fade set in their lush fingering, 75-25, and a coffee shop project bag. So there will be a few other things we're throwing in. I'm going to also add a bag for another prize. So there'll be more than one winner. And there are tons of entries and there are some beautiful sweaters. So that's coming up. And we will also be wrapping up our new to you techniques on cables or twists.
Yep.
So you can enter anything you finished in the last quarter that used something where you learned something new about those techniques, where you tried something new. And what else? Oh, okay. Upcoming. We are definitely going ahead with our crochet garment crochet along.
Okay. So I don't crochet.
No.
So I think that we should have the crochet garment for people that crochet. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could have another one for those of us who don't and actually tried to crochet.
That's just any crochet, like my first crochet?
Crochet?
Okay.
Because I've never, like I said, I've never crocheted and I keep wanting to try. So maybe if we do that, then I can pick something up to figure it out.
Okay, like we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it as a separate one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously
together, right? Like at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're calling that Crochet Til May.
Ooh, crochet. I like that. That rhymes.
Yeah.
Kisser.
So my first crochet can be I'll make a separate thread.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now I could give people knitting advice.
Right.
I don't feel like I could teach someone, not remotely. If I was sitting beside you, I could teach you how to crochet. So I don't know that I can give crochet advice. But what we could do is in my first crochet, in the chat thread, there are definitely some good crochet YouTube channels.
Okay.
And, we can post a few, but any of our experienced crocheters, if you know of or have your own tutorials, you could share them in that chat thread for our other members who need a little guidance. What are you going to crochet, Lisa? What's your first thing?
I don't know. I have done something flat.
Okay.
So I think that I'm going to graduate from flat to maybe 3-dimensional or something.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, scary.
Well, I mean, certainly everyone starts with dishcloths. Yeah. Because, I mean, there's a reason. Even knitting, it's quick, it's basic, it's forgiving. Right. If you mess up and make a mistake or drop a stitch, well, first of all, crochet is easy to tear back because you don't have to rip out the whole thing. But who cares? It's a dishcloth. You can leave the mistake and just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will definitely be putting some advice and things in there.
See, I look at all the 3-dimensional things that are crochet, and I just think they're so beautiful, and I really would like to try one of those.
We're hooking on in January after January 1. So you've got some time to prep, and it can be for the garment make along. It can be a sweater. I'm doing a sweater. It can be a shawl. It could be a poncho. So a garment. Something you wear bigger than a hat or mitts, I would say, like shawl, scarf, poncho, wrap, sweater.
Pants.
Pants. Go nuts.
Skirt.
Yeah.
Bathing suit.
Well, hey, there are.
I know. I was looking at them. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to happen. And
I just want to write that down.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we mentioned at the beginning of the episode how I've kind of found another rabbit hole to fall into.
Oh, yeah.
So when we were at Worksock, there's a lady with a booth there who sells finished rug hooked items. And her prices are, I think, low because of the amount of work that goes into it. So I bought this year this little pad. So it could be like a little hot pad. I just have my candles sitting under it, or but it's just a little decorative hot pad, isn't it? So you can see it's just strips, rows of these wool fabric. So I was talking to our friend Heather Crawford in Sarnia, who is a Finch's Nest on Instagram and Ravelry, and not Ravelry, Instagram and YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. And I was just talking about, this. And I said, I'd love to learn how to do this. And she also would love to learn how to do it. So I went to a booth, Martina Lessard Studio. And they sell all kinds of supplies. And they had a kit. So I bought a kit to make this. It's an 8x8
Nice.
block. It has they call this linen, like a rug linen. And it has all the fabric colors cut up in strips already.
Nice.
I bought a hook because you do need a special tool for this. It's not a punch needle. It's like a crochet hook, basically. Whereas punch needle is a needle with an eye in it. And I bought a hoop. And then I went looking. I asked it in a few local crafting groups and found a lady who is a phenomenal rug hooker. She's certified to teach. She used to teach at Lambton College, actually.
Yeah.
Her name is Fran. So she doesn't publicize classes or anything like that. She has sort of a group of people, experienced hookers.
It's like a drop-in. It's a drop-in type of thing.
Yeah, she has a group that meets regularly, and she had another lady who was interested in learning, and Heather and I were interested in learning. So 3 of us started together. So Fran, this is the hoop I bought. It's a non-slip hoop. Fran gave us, like, as part of the class, she prepared this, she was just showing us how you can put duct tape over the end of it. She gave us this prepared pattern to start on. And so you can see I've started these straight lines on the edges. So she drew the pattern on for us. And the reason she did this is because she was teaching us straight lines, how to turn corners, because you don't actually want to finish in a corner, how to do points. So this was last night's class, the points on the triangle.
Yeah.
Okay. And how to do circles. So we're going to learn all those techniques. And because there are, of course, better ways to do it than others.
When I told the lady at the yarn store when I lived in Huntsville the first time that I wanted to try it, she actually said, okay, well, are you going to be here tomorrow? And I said, yeah, I could be here tomorrow. And she says, okay. So she came in with a box of stuff for me. And it was a big hoop, a little hoop, a cutter, like one of those Fraser cutters, and three little blades, and a bunch of hooks and some wool. And she basically gave it all to me.
Awesome.
Here, you try it. And I'm like, okay, I still have it. I would like to try it, but I just think that at the time that I tried it, I had a small child.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really have time to sit and, commit to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm working on consistent loop height, and you actually make them taller than you think. You don't want them too short. But it's just getting it consistent. So that's, and then the technique for poking it through. So this is a practice piece, and I'll finish it. That'll be
fun. Yeah. Good.
And so then here's the funny part. Well, it's not funny, but here's the interesting part. I come home after my first class that night, and happened to be Lisa phoned. And so I'm talking to Lisa, and I think I had posted on Instagram, or maybe that was the next day, but I mentioned that I was at my first rug cooking class. And Lisa had just seen a post on a local buy and sell page of a woman who she knows who was selling a cutter.
Yeah, right?
So here's the thing with this cutting. I suppose you could use a rotary blade, like how you cut quilting.
That would be hard. It
would be, and it would be time consuming, and you want consistent width because you want your rows to be consistent as you hook. That's really important. And so there are cutters made specifically for this that have a handle that turns, and it just feeds the wool fabric right through, because you can buy wool in like sheets like this, right? So it feeds it through, and you get straight, consistent strip size. And there are different blades to make different widths. So this is a size.
It's how many per inch or something. Yeah.
So Lisa says, I just saw a post. It's someone she knows who's selling a used one at like half the price of a new one.
Right.
And she had a couple of blades that had recently been serviced. So because it was someone that Lisa knows, so I know I can trust that when she says it was just serviced and it works. Yeah. So I transferred her the money, and Lisa's hubby went and picked it up. He was going to be in the town where she lives.
You know what? that was really funny because it was very serendipitous because everything just kind of went boom and it was done. Right. Like just, and it was funny because I saw it and it was late at night and I couldn't link it to you because it was for Muskoka buy and sell.
Yes.
So I basically gave her your information, but no, she used to own a yarn store.
Yeah. Well, I was just thrilled. So that's, my husband bought me that for Christmas.
You're not getting it until after because it's still at my house.
Well, because if I buy like this kit, this is going to take me a while to finish. And this kit is already pre-cut.
Yeah.
But if I want to do anything else someday, I would have to either buy strips pre-cut or go to, Fran's and borrow her cutter or,
And you know what? Buying a pre-cut one is not a bad thing in a way but it can be expensive. And the other thing is you're kind of committed to the colors that they choose.
Right. And I actually have, so in addition to being able, I can use yarn, but I actually have several of these, I guess they're probably like a fat quarter of wool fabric that I've bought at Martina Lassar's booth in Woolstock over the years to make bags with. I've got some really pretty like herringbone patterns and whatever. But now I will have the option, especially if I have scraps left over, I can cut them up and use them for cooking. When am I going to have time to do all this, Lisa?
I do not know.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It's fun. It's interesting. I think it's...
You know what? It's not crack.
It's not crack.
It's not crack. It's not heroin.
At my age, I feel like it is good to keep the brain learning new things. Right?
Yep. Yeah. That's like me. I'm trying to keep active.
Yeah.
Especially in the weather that we're having. I shoveled the driveway with my daughter yesterday. That was, of course, he went away. And I called him because we had a snow day yesterday because we had that much snow.
Wow.
I think we had like 6 inches.
Holy cow.
I was so mad.
We have, well, this, but we have none here. And there is no snow forecast through Christmas.
Hubby is in Ottawa right now and they have nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
And we are.
That's unusual for Ottawa.
Right?
Yeah. Well, Manitoba too, where I'm from, there's very little. They've had warm weather. They've had rain. They've had some snow and then it's melted.
Well, it's funny because he was on his way to the hockey game for the Senators. And I FaceTime. I'm like, dude. He's like, what? I said, you left. And he says, yeah, I know. We're going to the hockey game. I'm like, oh, you're going to the hockey game. Well, that's really nice. Look at this. And he's like, oh. But it's okay. It's all right. Got to give him a hard time, though. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll probably be back in early January to kick off the crochet make-along. And then with all of the fabulous feedback that people have left in the Ravelry thread for this giveaway, even if you've missed the giveaway, I'll leave it open for more comments. So go ahead. Yeah, by all means, keep commenting. We love it. There's great suggestions in there and lots of things we can plan upcoming year.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's good.
So the color work. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this. When I mentioned, we were both talking about the Selbu mittens last episode. There are at least 5 people who've commented, I think, that they are very interested in a colorwork mitten make along, probably knit along. So that's something that it's hard to have too many knit alongs all going at the same time because it's just a lot to keep track of. So we've got the crochet ones, but
maybe we should do the mittens later when you don't want to carry a big project. Yeah.
Or, we could run those all year long.
That might be an idea
colorwork
too.
Mittens can take people a bit of time. And I thought we don't have to stick to like just the Latvian Selbu, that kind. Because I'm going to tell you, Grey Owl Knits has some amazing color.
Just the vintage lights. That is so cute.
Well, I did her dragonfly and oh my gosh. So I think the campers are cute. Yeah. any color work mitten. So that's not, maybe we'll come back in January and talk about kicking that off, but it is a lot to keep track of and a lot of posts to go through. And even for us, you know, we like to participate in the make-alongs and knit-alongs as well. So it's a lot.
I'm excited about that one. Crochet got me a little nervous, but I'll be all right. I'll live.
You can do it. There's so many fun things. You can do it. All right. Take care. Stay warm. Stay safe. Make time to make something for yourselves.
Yep. Thanks for spending time with us today, and happy knitting.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.